Episode 3 of Gossip Girl was the most dense episode yet. Ongoing subplots advanced, new subplots arose, and the final scene sets up more drama to come for Zoya. Gossip Girl Episode 2 was about secrets and sin, lies that became public at and after the play at public. And above all else, the play around the play was about being honest not only with others, but being honest with oneself. Max encouraged Gideon to wear what he wanted to wear, and later, Max outed Roy to Gideon. Roy told Gideon that he wasn't the man whom he had fallen in love with anymore, which was a callback to the way that Obi looked at Jules. But Gideon's response was interesting. Gideon pointed out that he was growing over the 20 years, and the one who had changed was Roy, who has now packed his bags and left. Roy had asked Max how could he do that to him, and Max responded with, "How could you do that to us?" which was ironic since Max himself had come between Aki and Audrey, symbolized by him sitting between them in this shot here as well as at the play. The pain from Roy's decisions caused Max to break down. He tried to escape reality with drugs, and as a result, his own guilt rose to the surface, causing an outburst in which he exposed both Aki and Audrey, telling them that he wasn't the only one who had messed up, that they should be honest with themselves. At school, Aki and Audrey forgave each other, and they seemed to be better than ever, both claiming that they didn't want to do Max again, which is hard to buy. Aki and Audrey tried to be honest with each other, but first, they need to be honest with themselves. Max went to Rafa for support, and Rafa allowed Max to stay the night there, but not together. He gave Max a pillow to sleep on the couch since he is not yet ready to jeopardize his job. That leads into the Rima situation. Jordan had set up a firewall at the school, so Gossip Girl was safe to post from the school Wi-Fi during school hours. But Jordan temporarily turned off the firewall so that Rima would get caught. They sacrificed her, and Kate felt guilty for doing so. It's worth noting that the boss of Rima's husband George was having an affair with a senior at Constance Billard, which begs the question, who is that student? And it's also worth noting that when Wendy told Rima that Kate didn't want to tell her about the escort thing, Rima questioned Kate. So Rima didn't crack during her interrogation. She didn't out any of the Gossip Girlers, but if she were to do so in the future, she would likely target Kate. Now let's discuss the subplots related to the sisters, starting with Jules and her father. Jules found out that her father was secretly dating Lola, and she caused drama between them. Davis later apologized to Jules, saying that he had kept his dating life a secret so that Jules would feel like the only woman in his life. But now, Davis sees Jules for who she is. Jules has grown up, and she can handle the truth. And she proved it, telling Davis that she'd really like to meet Lola. And Jules had a larger journey in this episode, a journey of self-discovery. She began by dating around, but that didn't work. Then she went out and partied, and that didn't work either. But at the end of the episode, Zoya got Obi to realize that Jules wasn't entirely to blame for their fallout. That maybe Jules got lost behind Obi since it's hard not to, as Obi doesn't even admit to himself that he's the Prince of New York. And he agreed. Obi apologized to Jules and took partial responsibility. Jules then came to the conclusion that maybe she needed Obi to leave her in order for her to realize that she can stand on her own. She doesn't need a partner, and she doesn't need to share her entire life on social media. Because of that, Jules went to school without her phone. Then we've got Zoya. Luna led an assault against Zoya on social media, so Zoya asked her to stop. Since Jules had been unable to find a partner, Luna and Monet decided to hedge their bets. They would help build up Zoya so that if Jules falls down, they wouldn't fall down with her. Luna advised Zoya as to what to wear and what she could and could not do in public. A lot of rules. And because Obi complimented her on the dress that she wore to the play, Zoya tried to be the perfect picture for him by following Luna's rules. Unknowingly, Zoya was pulling a Jules 2.0. She was losing her true self and in effect, losing Obi. But Zoya couldn't help but chime into a conversation at the after party. She was overheard by the play creator, Jeremy, and pulled aside, which may lead to future opportunities this season. Then, Zoya went outside and reconciled with Obi. All he wants is for her to be true to herself, and she did just so. She remembered who she was, the uncorrupted, non-city girl. But will that last, or will the upper-class city life corrupt her too? And last but not least, the ending. As we said, Luna had tried to embrace Zoya. She gave her rules, such as never trusting the doorman. But Zoya decided not to play by Luna's rules, and the doorman snuck a pic. Who will he share that with? maybe just Davis. A lot of people began tagging Zoya, so she turned her account private. But she may not be able to avoid drama. After all, when Rima left the Gossip Girl team, they threw her under the bus. And the show writers love using parallels, so the same may happen to Zoya. Luna told Monet that she has intel to use against Zoya so as to get Jules back on top. What is that intel? In episode 2, Zoya told Kate that she had issues back at her school in Buffalo. And at the end of episode 2, Jules told Kate to not use the info that she gave her. So the info that Jules gave to Gossip Girl may have been the drama related to Zoya's old school. There's a chance that Luna had given Gossip Girl tips, and in exchange, Gossip Girl passed on the tip that she got from Julien about Zoya. So we may find out soon what happened to Zoya in Buffalo.